Hey, what's up, hello guys, welcome to today's video. Long time no see. I was honestly such a roll at the beginning of the year, but I got sick for like 3 weeks, but we're back and I have been wanting to film this video since the beginning of the year, so it's finally time for us to do a reorganize my bookshelves with me / bookshelf tour. Also, a moment for the cup. I went to Barnes & Noble's the other day and I looked at their Valentine section. Like, look at how cute she is. It's a Romeo and Juliet's cup, and I even love that the handle's in a little heart. To start off, my bookshelf area has gotten so chaotic. I have lots of random stuff in the mini bookshelf area. I have random stuff on the bookshelf cart. I have not been keeping up with it, and that's something that I want to change, especially now that we're in 2026. So I think I'm just gonna start off by trying to clean everything off my shelves. I'm gonna put like all my books on my bed and then all my random stuff kind of in a pile out of the way, and I'll deal with that later. Right now I kind of just want to get the shelves done, like kind of like game planning. I for sure want to keep Throne of Glass at the top because that is my soul series, and actually since I'm in a backless top I can actually, you know, showcase my little Throne of Glass tattoo. Honestly, it's kind of hard because I genuinely like how my shelves look, but I do feel like I want to switch it up. And I also want to utilize my small shelves for series. So maybe I'll put like more series over there. Well, I don't want to dilly-dally. So I think for right now, I'm just going to go ahead and move all the books off, bar the top one. And then I can like contemplate what I'm going to do as I'm taking it off. That way I can just get this video moving. Okay, so I took all the books off and I cleaned off all my shelves, and they were dusty. Like, let this be a reminder to clean your shelves every so often. I don't think I've cleaned them in over a year, and that's on me. You guys don't know this, but it's actually been about 2 hours because my camera died, so I like kind of cleaned up outside, but now it is time to do the shelves. What I've done so far is I've done like the flowers that Andrew gave me with the book roses in the mason jar, kind of set up my Alexa, and then put my book journal stuff. So I think this is kind of just going to be like a little stationery area. I also decided to put the Throne of Glass onto one shelf. That way I can kind of utilize more of my shelf space until we get a bigger place. I'm a little sad because yeah, you don't get to see like every single cover, but I still think it looks pretty nice to have the OG covers kind of spread out. And now that I have this shelf open, I think I'm actually going to move the Fourth Wing stuff over there. So I kind of moved the one that was right here on top, so now it says like Fourth Wing, Iron Flame, Onyx Storm, and I kind of like that layout. Imagine I put like the wing leader hat on Toothless. There we go. Okay, I think I'm kind of rocking with this. Yeah, I think for this second shelf is actually something that I've been super excited to do. So one of my first series that I read when I was back in elementary is the Mortal Instruments series by Cassandra Clare, and the new editions of them have spines that when you line them all up together they make a photo. And a few days ago I actually was able to go ahead and get the last 3 books, so now we can officially put them on the shelves. I like it. You guys will get a closer look when I do like the actual bookshelf tour, but I really like how that kind of placed out. I don't know what I'm going to put next to it yet, but I do know that I want to do a Once Upon a Broken Heart shelf over here, so I'm just going to go ahead and start that off while I decide what else to do. Okay guys, it is the next day. Yesterday I ended up having to go pick up my fiance and I ended up injuring my shoulder during pickleball, so I didn't want to come home and film the bookshelf tour. But now it is a new day, new matcha, and I can give you guys the full tour. So the top left one didn't really change. It is still going to be my Throne of Glass collection, and instead of having it like the first 4 here, the first 4 there, I decided to keep them all in one row. I am on the hunt for the Kingdom of Ash original cover, so once I get that one, it's gonna kind of go here and then it'll be the full row. And then I decided to do the top right as my 4th wing shelf, which you guys kind of got to see me put together in this video. Moving down a shelf, we got the Stephanie Garber shelf. Carnival was actually the first series of hers that I read, and then I read the Once Upon a Broken Heart series back in like September and instantly fell in love. I totally get the hype about Jax now, like love that man. So I have the 3 Barnes & Noble's editions of the Once Upon a Broken Heart series. I actually had the Curse for True Love one, so I have 2, and that's why I have the first 3 here, and then I decided to keep the second one kind of opened and displayed like that. Then Carnival and the Carnival novella Spectacular, which I do have the Barnes & Noble's edition of, as well as Stephanie Garber's most recent book, Alchemy of Secrets. I gotta start taking the stickers off my books. Taking it over to the right, these are more of my Soul series. So you guys kind of saw me put together the spines of the mortal instruments, and I'll go ahead and give you a close-up look here. But I really like that you can kind of like see the picture the spines are depicting with like the bridge, all of the characters, the city, the people fighting on the top, the bottom. Like I really like how the spines aligned. Is exactly what I was hoping for when I bought them to put them on my shelf. Next to it is another one of my top series. Like if I could rank my series, I don't think I could. Like Shatter Me series, the 4th Wing series, and Throne of Glass are all tied equally. Maybe Throne of Glass a little bit more, but I love the Shatter Me series with all of my heart. So of course they had to be high up on my shelves, and I decided to put them kind of up and down like this, that way you can read the titles, and there are a lot of books and I want to be able to stack them. Then the spin-off series, which is about Aaron and Adam's little brother. I don't know what the name of the series is called. I know the first book is Watch Me, the second book is Release Me, which I believe has come out recently. I just decided to put here to kind of fill in the space, and then obviously as I get more books for the series, eventually I'll turn it sideways and then I can fit the rest there. You guys won't kind of see me in this one because of the camera angle, but going on to the 3rd shelf on the left, we have a lot of my favorite romance authors. We have Anna Huang. I think I actually might switch it around because this series is done. This series is gonna keep growing, and I don't want to have to move the Ali Hazelwood stuff. So I reorganized it a little bit. I know the Kings of Sin series is going to be 2 more books, so that's why I wanted to have like more of the extra space there, and then maybe I'll have the King of the Court series or King of the Net above. I don't know, we're still trying to work it out. When the time comes, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. And then we have Ali Hazelwood, and I love Ali Hazelwood's books. So this is more or less cutesy little romance shelf. I do want to get a bunch of little trinkets to put. Then on the left is more fantasy. So obviously I have ACOTAR, another one of my favorite series. I have Valaris tattooed right here. And then I put Sarah J. Maas's Crescent City series here. There are going to be more books which will probably replace this area, but for now, kind of filling in the space, we got some more of my fantasy favorites, which is the Quicksilver series by Callie Hart. I have the special edition of Brimstone. I have yet to read it. I'm going to read it soon. It's high up on my TBR, but I absolutely loved when Quicksilver came out. And then Divine Rivals, also have not read it yet, but it's on my 26 for 2026. Moving on to our next shelves. First off, over here, we got my favorite cowboy romance author, and that is going to be Elsie Silver. So I have the Chestnut Spring series, and then I'm slowly starting the Rose Hill series. I actually read this almost a year, no, actually, no, I read it in August. I read it in August, and I do need to get the rest of the books, and when I do, eventually they'll stack this way and slowly start taking over this shelf. Next to her, we got one of my other favorite authors, and it's Lauren Asher, and she does a lot of like billionaire romances. I haven't finished the series. I read the fine print and terms and conditions. I have yet to read Final Offer. Fun fact, book 2, actually, Love Unwritten. Well, 1, I got the special edition, but 2, I actually have it signed from Lauren Asher, and she said, "Mika, shut up and kiss me already." hope you enjoy. So one of my prized possessions. Next up over here, I have the Dream Harbor series by Lauren Gilmore. All of these books over here are like such sweet and like short, cozy reads. So if you're ever looking for someone that's gonna be like a fun little read, I definitely recommend these books, especially during the holiday seasons. Like the Pumpkin Spice Cafe and the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore are both very like fallsy cozy reads, and I read them last October and they really fit the vibes. Switching sides back to like my fantasy shelf, we have the Lightlark series by Lauren Asher and then the Powerless series by Lauren Roberts. I feel like these spines and like the design of like black with like the name and the title all being one word really like matched each other, so I always try to keep them on the same shelf. Dropping it down to our second to bottom shelves is kind of more of my romance book. So I have the Windy City series by Liz Tomford. I'm actually reading it on my Kindle because it is on Kindle Unlimited, but I only have the first book in paperback. But let me just tell you, this series is slowly becoming one of my favorite sports romance series. Mile High ate that up. The Right Move ate that up. And I'm currently reading Caught Up right now, which is the third book. And I believe the sixth one just released not that long ago. So super excited to finally catch up and finish that series. And this is definitely one that I do want to get all the books for. Continuing on are like books that I have that I don't have like the full series of, or they're just like other authors that I don't have a lot of books of. So like Lucy Score by Thread, Things We Never Got Over. Haven't read these two yet, but I've heard a lot of good things. Then we have the Magnolia Park series. I'm also reading this on my Kindle. I'm on book either 4 or 5. I haven't continued reading it, but I only own the first book, so right now its home is over here. The Fake Mate by Lana Ferguson, Craven Torn by Monica Murphy. I believe these are both standalones. So right over here is my collection of Sarah Adams. I love all of her books. They're also really cute, fun, like rom-com reads. She just came out with another one, I believe, In Your Dreams. So when I get that, it'll go over here. And then in this little corner, we have some Emily Henry books. Before we dive into that, I'm just gonna give a hot take. I am honestly not the biggest fan of Emily Henry books. I read The Beach Read, gave it a 3 stars. It just like, it was good and I read the whole thing, but it wasn't like my favorite, nor do I think it was for me. Same with The People We Meet on Vacation. I know a lot of people rave about that book, but it honestly got a 3 star for me. I do feel like it just basically romanticized emotional cheating. So that's just my hot take. Like, you know, still enjoyed the book, but it wasn't like one of my favorites, and I just don't think her books are for me. Bringing it down over to the fantasy section, we have some Carrie Maniscalco books. So I have the Kingdom of the Wicked series, as well as the Throne of the Fallen and Throne of Secrets, which I believe these two are a spin-off series of these 3. Then I have the Cruel Prince or the Folk of Air series. I do want to get the spin-off series, and eventually when I get more shelves, I do want this series to have like its own like shelf space, just because it's really special to me, but due to lack of space, its home is over here. Then we have another one of my favorite fantasy series, which is the Emily Wilde series. So I have book 1, book 2, book 3. Kind of finishing off is like either standalones or books where I only have the first book in the series. And let me tell you, I'm reading this book right now. I just hit, I think, 57% on my Kindle. I'm like foaming at the mouth. Like, it is such a good book. I understand the hype, and it honestly is slowly becoming maybe my top read of the year, but we'll see. I have to kind of tilt my camera down because my tripod won't go lower, but kind of finishing off the rest of these bookshelves. Over here are kind of more of my like mystery thriller books. So I have the first book of The Inheritance Game by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I actually finished the series because it was available on Kindle, I believe, or I had it on Kindle, so I read that. Do need to get the rest of her books. And then I have her Natural series, which is also very, very highly underrated. If you guys are looking for like a fun read that kind of like lets you live out like your Criminal Minds era, like if you love Criminal Minds, this is the series for you. I have some more other books. Some of them are dark romance, like The Haunting Adeline, Cat and Mouse series, Lights Out, Butcher and Blackbird. And then I have some other fantasy books over here, like the Ex-Hex Phantasma. And then, yeah, Housemaid by Frida McFadden. This is kind of like books where there's only a couple of, and They're kind of like in the same genre of like mystery, thriller, dark romance, so they're all piled together on the shelf. And the last shelf on the right side of my bookshelf, like the fantasy series, we have some more where I only have the first book or they're standalones. So some like popular mentions are Serpent on the Wings of Nights, Blood of Hercules, Serpents and Dove, and then over here are like the hardcover versions I have. And eventually I will finish off getting the rest of the books for these series that I do like and have been reading, but for now they're all kind of bunched together. So now we're gonna go ahead and move on to my smaller bookshelf. So starting off with the top shelf, I have more of my sport romance series. So over here is Elle Kennedy. She was actually the first sports romance book I read, and it was The Deal, and I honestly really loved it. I read all of the books immediately after, bar The Legacy, because Elle Kennedy actually DM'd me when I was talking to her about her books, and she said I should read the Briar U before that, which I believe is like the one that has the chase in it. I do want to read those 4 books before I get to The Legacy, and then eventually I'm gonna read the spin-off series, which is about their kids. And then over here we have some more hockey romances, and then I have the very popular, but I have not read yet, The Boys of Tommen series. Binding 13 is actually one of my most anticipated reads for this year because of all the hype surrounding it. So I'm really excited to start it, and it will be its own YouTube videos, like start the Boys of Tommen series with me. But because it's sport romance, I decided to keep it on the shelf. So going over here, these are more of like my sad romance books and romance books that are standalones that I didn't really have a place for them at my bigger shelf. So we have like Colleen Hoover books, we have a bunch of sad popular romances such as Thousand Boy Kisses, If He Had Been With Me, We Were Liars, and then Archer's Voice, and then I have one billionaire romance that I have yet to read, and then this pile over here are all arcs that I have been sent, but I didn't really have space for them on the other shelf, so little home here. The 2 Robert Greene books I have down here are my fiance's, so that's kind of been their home. Not gonna go too much into this bottom shelf just because all the books over here in the corner is the Land of Story series, and these are my childhood books that I read when I was little. So that's their little spot. And then over here is just the newer covers of the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas. So that was it. That was my tour. I hope I did a really good job because I honestly don't know how to really explain these things. Like, I feel like I'm being very redundant because you can obviously see what's on my shelves. Like, I don't have to read off the titles, but I also don't want it to be like a fast video where you kind of just like looking at my shelves. So I don't know. I tried to give the descriptions the best that I could. And I like the background that it's giving me, like being surrounded by all my books, so I'm pretty happy. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was honestly really fun being able to film again. I did miss booktube. Hoping that I don't get sick again, gonna knock on wood, and I can keep up the weekly videos. So yeah, let me know what you guys want to see next. I am gonna be doing the Reading Binding 13 with me, but I think I might do that maybe closer to summer when I have more time. But yeah, I'll be sure to think of some videos, but obviously I want to know what you guys want to see and would like to prioritize that. So you guys know the drill. If you liked today's video, please go ahead and leave a comment and a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!